Brachos Daf Vav. Kol Amar Rav Chelbo Amar Rav Huna. Rabbi Chelbo said in the name of Rav Huna, Kol Adam sheyesh bo yirat shamayim devarav nishmaim. Any person who has the fear of God in him, his words are heard. Shenemar sof davar hakol nishma es ho'elokim yira ves mitzvosav shemor ki zeh kol ha'adam. At the end of all things, everything is heard. Fear God and keep his mitzvos, for this is the whole person. So the interpretation, the Talmud, Rav Huna, Rav Chelbo, is bringing down a teaching from Rav Huna, where Rav Huna says, Sof davar hakol nishma, every word is heard of the person who fears God. So on the simplest level, this is saying, if you want someone to listen to you, then be sure that you're keeping what you're preaching. If you have Yirat Shamayim yourself, so then people will listen to you because you mean what you're saying. It's true. However, there are many ways to say this. The question is, why refer to Yirat Shamayim, to fear of heaven? Maybe just say a person should first correct their own behavior before preaching to others. Or a person who is Shomer Torah mitzvos, or a person who loves Hashem. What is it with the fear of Hashem? So the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says something fascinating. He says that if a person speaks with fear of Hashem, then their words are not coming from their body, they're coming from their soul. If I say something to you based on what I think, then how do you know that that's going to be relevant to you? Right? It's my idea. It works for me. It doesn't work for everyone because it's personal to me. But if I'm speaking from my neshama, if I'm speaking from my soul, then it's universal. And you know what? Maybe the human words that I'm using may not be applicable to you, but you can feel my spirit if I'm speaking from my spirit. What is the key? So how do I understand what the Or HaChaim is saying? What's the key to living with a mindset of spirit is having the fear of God. And this is different than the love of God. The love of God is great. But when we feel the love of God, what we're really feeling is, I want to be close to God. I want to be more experiencing the presence of Hashem. Whereas with the fear of God, what I'm saying is, I am aware that I am in the presence of God right now. And in the fear, and that affects me to the point that I feel humble. I feel small, or even more so, I disappear. Yira is silence. If I am afraid or I'm awestruck, two different manifestations of the same emotional idea, I won't speak. When I'm in love, I have many, many, many words to say. But when I'm in respect, I am silent. And so that is, again, the self is silenced, and all that's left is the spirit. And the Bnei Yissaschar says something fascinating on top of this. He says, Devarav nishmoim. He doesn't say people will listen to you. It says one's words are heard. So he says if a person, he says so often we say things and we don't listen to what we ourselves are saying. Our life as religious Jews is filled with us talking without ourselves listening. We daven. How often do we listen to the words that we ourselves are saying? We learn. How often do we really, really hear the Torah that we're speaking? So he says, if a person approaches life, approaches their tefillah, their prayer, and approaches their study of Torah with the simple opening statement, God is great. After that, Hashem makes it easier for us to hear the words that we ourselves are saying.